It all started with a silence that could break a storm. Senator John Kennedy, a towering figure in American politics known for his biting wit and unapologetic Southern charm, had just filed the most unexpected lawsuit in recent congressional history, a staggering $200 million defamation suit against rising star, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett of Texas. The political world gasped, headlines erupted, and for the first time in months, both conservative and liberal media paused to watch the same story unfold. What sparked the legal thunderstorm was a fiery congressional hearing broadcast live, where Jasmine, never one to back down, had gone toe-to-toe with Kennedy over a controversial piece of criminal justice legislation. Tensions were high. Words flew like daggers. But when Jasmine accused Kennedy of profiting off the pain of the people, everything changed. The senator's team immediately labeled it slanderous. Kennedy's legal counsel released a dramatic press statement. The accusations made by Representative Crockett are false, malicious, and intended to harm Senator Kennedy's reputation. We will pursue damages to the full extent of the law. Crockett was stunned but not shaken. For a week, she disappeared from the public eye. No interviews, no social media posts. Her allies began to worry. The weight of a $200 million lawsuit was enough to sink a lesser politician. Anonymous sources from her team admitted she was devastated but gathering herself. But on the 8th day, everything changed. A nationally televised interview was announced on MSNBC's primetime slot. The banner read, "Jasmine Crockett breaks her silence." Twitter, now X, exploded. The ratings surged. People weren't just tuning in for news, they were bracing for a war of words. Or perhaps an apology, maybe even a resignation. What they got was something else entirely. Dressed in a sleek midnight blue blazer, and standing behind the podium with the calm of a seasoned leader, Jasmine didn't flinch. Her voice didn't tremble. Her eye steady focused looked straight into the camera as she began. No intention of apologizing for telling the truth. The room went silent. Even the anchor froze for a moment, caught off guard by the directness. Jasmine continued. "I did not accuse Senator Kennedy out of spite, political gain, or anger. I spoke from pain. The pain of seeing bills passed that disproportionately hurt communities that look like mine. The pain of watching leaders profit off prison contracts, while mothers bury sons, and if speaking that truth costs me my career, my peace, or even everything I own, so be it." The crowd behind the glass, mostly producers and journalists, began to clap. On social media, hashtags erupted. Hashtag stand with Jasmine. Hashtag truth over power. Hashtag we see you, Kennedy. But the most shocking moment came when she pulled out a Manilla envelope on live TV. Since Senator Kennedy wants to bring this into the courts, let's put everything on the record. She handed the envelope to the anchor. Inside were documents, internal memos, and donation receipts. All legally obtained, heavily redacted where necessary, but damning in implication. The documents detailed a web of donations from private prison companies to multiple campaigns, Kennedy's being one of them. The anchor, visibly stunned, looked at the camera and said, "We're going to verify these documents. But if this is what it appears to be, this could change everything." And it did. Over the next 72 hours, news outlets dove deep. Investigations were launched. The lawsuit was quietly withdrawn. Kennedy never made a public comment again, his reputation bruised, his influence fading. But Jasmine She toured cities across the country, not to gloat, but to speak. About justice, about truth, about the price of standing tall when the system wants you silent. She met with college students, single mothers, veterans, and ex-offenders, people who saw in her something rare, an elected official who didn't run from a fight, but stood in the fire. Her story became a movement. And in the next election cycle, she didn't just win re-election, she won hearts. People who had never voted before stood in line for hours just to support her. In the end, Jasmine Crockett didn't just defeat a $200 million lawsuit, she defeated fear. Her story became a reminder to every person watching that courage doesn't come from power. It comes from pain transformed into purpose. And as she said on that now iconic broadcast, if your voice shakes mountains, don't ever lower it for men who build fences. Because sometimes, the most powerful courtroom is the truth spoken loud enough for the world to hear.